Atomic Heart Enchanted Under the Sea DLC offers more bosses, weapons, and challenges. Let's examine and see if it's worth the plunge. What's up, everybody? It's your boy MM2K of Hard Knock Digital Culture, MM2K Gaming, and here, Cloud Dosage back again with another video. Do us a huge favor before we get into this one though. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and rock those bells for notifications, please. All right, let's talk about it. Atomic Heart Enchantment Under the Sea DLC. This is the third DLC. And for those of you that are not familiar with Atomic Heart, the base game, the base title is described as an adventure role-playing action game. It takes place in an alternative Soviet Union during 1955. Now, the plot revolves around scientist Dmitry Sechenkov's invention of a special substance called polymer. Now, based upon this creation, a neural network of robots was created and infused with artificial intelligence. You play as Major of Intelligence Neshev, aka P3, who must uncover the truth behind this rapidly growing and popular technology. Now, in the main game, you battle through tons of robotic enemies and more as things go awry during your investigation. There's a lot of thrilling twists and turns in this game within this unsettling yet extremely interesting setting of an alternative timeline. By the main game's end, you are confronted with a choice surrounding Sechenkov's intention with the tech at the center of the story. For the sake of not spoiling major plot lines, we will describe the two choices as the red path and the blue path. Now, this DLC is within the blue path timeline. Following DLC 2 is also embedded within the blue path timeline. P3, your character, is trying to stop a deadly situation involving a newfound resistance and civilian-used robots. Entitled Enchantment Under the Sea, the DLC takes players to an aquatic setting and about to save humanity against an evil plot. Fans of a clear inspiration, BioShock, may see this setting in advertisements and get nostalgic. So does the game live up to the expectations and the fulfilling gameplay of the base game? Well, let's examine. And let's do so by breaking this up into pros and cons. First, the pros. Visual implementation has slightly been improved in the beginning of the game, but as time goes on, it starts to look more and more better. And it still holds up to current games, despite the age of the base game, which is remarkable due to the size of the team involved. BioShock vibes regarding action maintained while making combat more approachable and mainstream friendly. And the combat is more abundant this time opposed to the main game, and it is more fast paced. Now, here is the cons. In regards to the aforementioned combat is less challenging, which adds to the sense of flow apparently desired, but it takes away from the sense of journey and urgency ever so slightly. The English dialogue script is abysmal through 90% of the game to where it affects immersion with the plot. The control configurations are bad in key ways that hold back on smooth gameplay via the myriad of controls you have to use swiftly in certain configurations. Now, as far as the service/platform synopsis, the game looks and performs like a dream on Geforce Now Ultimate, where we played and reviewed this game. NVIDIA's cloud gaming service, if you're not familiar with Geforce Now, allows you to play thousands of games in your digital PC library. We were able to play this game in 4K on the highest setting, and it's called Atomic, clocking in 100 plus frames a second. And we did that at a capped 120 frames, where it pretty much stayed around 120 frames. Very infrequently did it dip below 118. However, foolish of me, I waited until after I beat the game, and I said, "Oh, that boss fight was fun. Let me go back and play it again." It wasn't until that second finish of the boss fight that I say, "Let me uncap the frames and see how far we can go." It was then that I found the game to mostly stay, listen to this, at 180 frames per second. This is at 4K on Atomic. That's crazy. That's just insane considering everything happening in this boss sequence. So GFN Ultimate, as far as I'm concerned, gets a 10 out of 10 here. But overall for the game, my MM2K score, and then what we would, consider to be the Cloud Dosage score for this DLC, my MM2K score is 8.1 out of 10. A B minus, or good experience, pretty good experience, and that would equate to a 4.0 or out of 5 here for the Cloud Dosage score. Now, as you guys know who regularly follow how I critique games, I usually leave a little spot out there to say, hey, here's the things that they could have added that could have led to an A+ or a 10 out of 10 out of my score, or 5.0 out of the Cloud Dosage score. More challenging enemies. I particularly missed challenge thresholds presented, for instance, by the black suited robots in the main game. Due to the lack of challenges, honestly, 30 to 40% of the save spots were not needed. When you spread those save spots out a little bit more, it adds to the sense of urgency. And I get where they were trying to increase the flow of the game and the speed of the game, but this is Atomic Heart, and at its heart, there are BioShock, journey, and strategy elements to it, even if you do speed up the pace, and you got to add to that sense of urgency. You can't deviate too far from that and try to turn this into Call of Duty. It's just not going to work. So yeah, 30 to 40% of the save spots were not necessary. They also need better English translation to dialogue, so it doesn't separate the listeners from the plot. I'm going to be honest with you. For overwhelming majority of the plot, I could care less what was going on. The dialogue was so kind of like weird. It kind of like, it didn't make me want to say, oh, I can't play this game. Absolutely not. But it kind of separated me from like caring too much about the characters and the things that were going on. It did enough. It let me know why I was doing stuff, but beyond that, I really couldn't get into it because of the dialogue. They definitely need better gamepad control configurations and customizable options for more fluid option selections. Like when I was playing that boss fight, there were times that I wanted to switch weapons, and depending upon where, it doesn't work like a wheel when you're hitting the dialogue pad. Now you can hit Y, I believe, or triangle, depending upon what joystick you're using, and pause the game and use a wheel. But that sometimes is sloppy, breaks from the immersion. You know, just let me use the control pad and let it circle around. Like if I'm at the beginning option of my weapons, which you only get like about 4, right? If I hit left at the very top, let me circle back around and go, you know, to the bottom. Doesn't let you do that, and it kind of messes with the smoothness of trying to select options as well. And you need more action-packed time in the aquatic scene. There's a scene where you actually are swimming in the water for a period of time and you're solving some puzzles. It kind of feels like a cheap thrill. There should have been more action sequences in there, you know. And lastly, a necessity to use more of your entire arsenal more frequently. I went through 99% of this game just using my melee weapon and my shotgun. And I get to where they want to let you play the way that you want to play, but you only have like 4 weapons. You know what I'm saying? So just like your auxiliary powers, where there are times where you have to use shock and you have to use fire. They don't just let you use shock all the time. They don't let you just use fire. There should have been an option to let you to like kind of force you into situations where, hold on, I need to power up this assault rifle. I kind of need to use it. I need to use the shotgun here. I mean, I went through 90% of the game, I just used 2 weapons, and then really 80% of the game, I just used my melee weapon. You know what I mean? With that said, those are the things that could have made it a perfect score. But again, still a pretty good game, and not too far off from the base game. I really enjoyed it, and here's my overall conclusion. Atomic Heart Enchantment Under the Sea was a pretty good experience. The shortcomings in dialogue, pacing, and challenge pale in comparison to the increased combat sequences. The rewarding for journeying and those memorable boss fights, man, those are things that, again, I played this boss fight like over and over again since I beat it. The DLC did a great job maintaining the heart and soul of the original game, but giving you a change in pace. I'm going to say this to those of you that are out here watching this review, or maybe watching some of the game clips and stuff like that we have here on the YouTube channel. It's a shame how underrated this title has been since launch. I'm not just talking about this DLC. I'm talking about the main game as well. With an exuberant amount of gameplay from the base game and what was added to the DLCs, and then now this one, which a lot of critics are saying is like the best DLC out there. With all the content that you get with this game, this is one I highly recommend regardless of backlog. And when you take a look at how much these DLCs are, they're not raking you over the coals. They're not, as I say, beating you in the head with a cash register. These are like 10 bucks a pop. I think this is on sale This is on sale on various platforms. I believe this is you can find Steam codes for cheap as well. So I highly recommend picking up the game. I can't recommend this more regardless of your backlog. It's not often where DLC provides as much quality as the main game, and this definitely does that. So kudos to Mundfish for this entry. I pleasantly wait the final DLC, which is DLC 4. And we still don't know what the title of that's going to be, but I can't wait to play that one. With that said, that's it from your boy. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Did you guys get the game? What did you think about it? Or do you plan on getting it? Does this help you, make your mind up? And with that said, let us know in the comment section below. Until next time, you all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.